Alright, so I've had some thoughts, been going through a lot of stuff, being laid off and locked up. Can't do much of anything other than clean, peruse the internet, see what I find. And wow, there's a lot of confusing stuff going on in the media, the way they're reporting things. And I just want to point some of these things out. And especially when it comes to just the narrative surrounding this whole coronavirus. So bear with me as I'm going to try to piece this whole thing together. Probably shouldn't start with this one. Maybe I should end with this one because this isn't the big one in my opinion. But we'll start small, I guess, because this is just little shit. So we'll first watch this quote of, I believe it's Andrew Cuomo, the guy from New York, not the guy on CNN, but the actual politician Cuomo, and what he's saying about President Trump and his need for ventilators. So let's watch this.
Where are the ventilators? Where are the gowns? Where's the PPEs? Where are the masks? Where are they?
So it's going to go on a little bit after this and just continue on with him wondering, like, what am I going to do? I don't have enough ventilators. Everyone's going to die. I'll just let you watch, and it cuts right into the other video of, or I'll have to rewind it because I'm showing this in a different order, but I think it's the way the story needs to be told surrounding this. So you start from the beginning, and then I'll bring you back to where we're kind of at with this whole thing. Come on.
It is a war. Well, then act like it's a war. And at the rate they are going, it is not happening. FEMA says we're sending 400 ventilators. Really? What am I going to do with 400 ventilators when I need 30,000? You pick the 26,000 people who are going to die because you only sent 400 ventilators. We have
So then we'll go to this, where he says, who's going to pick who's going to die? Then Trump tweets, thousands of federal government delivered ventilators found in New York storage. New York must distribute now. And Cuomo was even saying he needs them right now. I have all these people. We need to choose, who's going to live, who's going to die. Then Trump calls him out. So then he gets asked about all of this. So let's watch that.
Ventilators found in a storage facility, or something that the president is claiming that there were ventilators found that they need to be distributed. Is there any truth to that?
That is incorrect and grossly uninformed. The point is, we have ventilators in a stockpile, and we didn't send them to the hospitals yet. Of course we didn't. That's the whole point. The hospitals don't need them yet. The hospitals aren't at their apex. The hospitals have enough ventilators today, but the numbers are going up. We're planning for an apex, a high point in about 21 days. That's when we need the 30,000 ventilators, not today. Right now, we're putting them in a stockpile. So the point is, well, they're in a stockpile, you must not need them. It's just ignorant. Of course you don't need them today. You need them when you hit the apex, which is 30,000. We're not there yet. Where are the ventilators? Where are the gowns? Where's the PPEs? Where are the masks? Where are they? It is a war. Well, then act like it's a war. And at the rate they are going, it is not happening. FEMA says we're sending 400 ventilators. Really? What am I going to do with 400 ventilators when I need 30,000? You pick the 26,000 people who are going to die because you only sent 400 ventilators.
I just noticed how he's like, I need 30,000 and you're sending me 400. And then it turns into you choose the 26,000 that are going to die. It's like, no, if you only have 400 sent to you, that's not 4,000 less. That's still going to be 29,600 people. So, and people say this guy should be the next president. Like, really, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, he just seems like an actor to me. he's acting a lot like his brother, just spinning narratives for the media. I don't trust him. But we'll go on to the next thing here. Oh man, there's so much that we could cover. Let's go into this butte right here. Let's bring this up. So you get Sky News, which I believe is Australia. I think I watched this. I'm pretty sure I watched this video that was on the top of them reporting in Italy. Like, this is supposed to be what was going on in Italy, and it was just crazy what's going on in there. All the people hooked up, and they got those weird, like, bags over their heads. I don't know, I shouldn't be saying, like, weird bags over their heads, but I don't know how else to describe it. It's just not something I've ever seen before, so it's strange to me. That's why I say weird. But to help them breathe, I imagine, since it has such respiratory issues that this virus causes. And then you get CBS reporting as if this is what's happening in New York. They now account for more than half of the new cases. They're just saying, like, they're taking this footage from Sky News that they did and just claiming it as their own. Like, there isn't any sort of credit to Sky News that I saw, and they're claiming that this is New York. This isn't the first time the media has done something like this. They took something that happened in the Middle East, saying that I think Syria was getting bombed or something like that by the United States, and then the video footage ended up being out of, like, somewhere in the U.S., like Kentucky, of something that somebody did in their backyard with explosives or something. And they took that video footage and claimed that it was us bombing some other country. And I know that I know that we've been at war with other places, but it's just the way the media reports things, and they try to spin these narratives, and then you can call them out on it. Like, people do call them out. This is how I find out about this stuff, and the media doesn't issue any retractions. So they put stuff out, everybody believes this is what's going on, but then you can correct them. They'll be like, oh yeah, whoops, sorry, we made a mistake. But then they don't ever issue any corrections. The journalists don't. So you're just stuck thinking this is what is really going on in New York, even though that was really Italy. Or you could think, oh, we bombed wherever, and this is what it looked like, when really that was just something that went down in Kentucky within the United States. So I have a hard time trusting the media, and especially when they can't even keep their story straight, especially when it comes to this coronavirus thing. So New York, say it does look like this. The reason that it probably looks like this is because of this butte right here. Health Commissioner for New York. Today is our city celebrating the Lunar New Year parade in Chinatown, a beautiful cultural tradition with a rich history in our city. I want to remind everyone to enjoy the parade and not change any plans due to misinformation spreading about the coronavirus. Which information are we even talking about? Are we talking about the information where the World Health Organization and you are saying, don't worry about this. This is no big deal. Investigations conducted by the Chinese have found that there's no clear evidence of human-to-human contact. Don't worry about that. It came from China. We can trust China. China doesn't just off journalists or completely lock us out of their country so we can't have any idea of what's going on. No, just trust China. There's no verification, but just trust them. There's no evidence of human, and I know this is from early January, but you can just see how the narrative's changed, where they've been trying to act like they've done everything in their power. So that brings me to my next part here. We should watch this, where the World Health Organization is basically covering for China in this whole thing. They have been, I guess it seems like from the beginning, but they're trying to say that they had a wonderful response. And here's like an interview of, I think this is some journalist from Taiwan talking to somebody within the World Health Organization. It'll show a decent chunk of it on screen here. Hopefully you can figure out what's going on from there. But yeah, this is something. This is really something.
In an online interview with The Pulse, WHO's Assistant Director General, Dr. Bruce Alward, defended the organization.
WHO WHO recognized very early on that this virus had the potential to become a pandemic. And the message we went out, we were very clear about that, was...
I just have to stop right there. Remember, this is what I just showed. He's saying that the World Health Organization, from very early on, I guess I don't know what early on is, but he was trying to say that they were telling everybody this was going to be a pandemic. When, middle of January, they're stating, nothing to see here, guys. No human-to-human transmission. No big deal. All right, let's continue.
Now, we were very clear about that, was we actually, as societies, have the ability, it appears, to prevent this becoming a pandemic. If we do the kind of measures that China put in place, testing all the people that are suspect cases, isolating, as you spoke about, etc. Now, what we've seen, and we're very clear about that, is that countries were not able to put some of those measures in place, and the virus continued to spread. And at that point, it had moved from a potential pandemic to an actual pandemic. Any country that says we were waiting for WHO to declare a pandemic has to take a deep look and a deep reflection on itself, because you could see what devastation this virus did in China. You could see this virus moving. You could see it causing similar issues in other parts of the world.
All right, I just got to interject here again and just drive home the point that there was no clear sign, because China was welding people's doors shut in their apartments, and the videos were getting removed from the internet. Like, I don't know if I could find that video. I'm not gonna go try to dig that up. I don't even say go look for it, because I don't think you'll find it. It was even taken off Live Leaks, and I don't know if everybody knows what that is, but if there's some sort of horrible video that gets removed from most platforms due to it being graphic or whatever, Live Leaks will keep it up. That's where everything is. That's where most terrible videos stay for people to have, reference. But it's not even there. And they were cremating people like crazy. We don't even know like the actual numbers from China. And then you get this guy from the World Health Organization saying, like, basically anybody that didn't listen to what was coming out of China needs to take a deeper look at themselves. So it's like they're trying to spin this whole thing as China did everything right. Nobody listened to them. The people that didn't listen, that have higher numbers and have turned this into a pandemic, because they're trying to say that it stopped in China. It's not growing in China anymore. That could be true. Who knows? We don't know. There's really no way to verify any of that. But then it's growing in the U.S. at just an alarming rate. So it's like they're trying to shape this narrative as incompetency in the administration of Trump here. And I'm not saying he's perfect. I don't really like the guy. I'm not a big Trump supporter. But it's the truth that matters in all of this, and the timeline of everything, and the information that was coming out, and everything's happening so fast. There was, the media saying it came from China. They didn't warn us about it. Now they're saying that China warned all of us about it. So you can just see how everything's shifting now. And I really do think all this is going to be about is Trump when it comes to the media narrative. And then that's going to be the way people start thinking. And it's an election year. So I'm just very confused as to what's going on with all of this. It just doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't add up, because I'm trying to add it up, but there's too many coincidences. And when there's so many coincidences and they're all lining up just so perfectly, it's like, I don't know, man. Seems like an agenda, but let's continue.
You have to move on the basis of what a threat can potentially do, and that is exactly what we called on governments around the world to do.
As the outbreak has swept across the world, a few places have seemed to have things more under control. One of them is Taiwan. Late this week, Taiwan had recorded 252 cases and only 2 deaths, a much lower percentage than its larger East Asian neighbors. Taipei says it alerted the WHO at the end of December about the risk of human-to-human transmission of COVID-19, but concerns were not passed on. Despite being shut out by China and the WHO, Taiwan's efforts in combating the outbreak were recognized by the European Union in a recent video conference.
Will the WHO consider Taiwan's membership? Hello?
I'm sorry, I can't hear. I couldn't hear your question.
Okay, yeah. Let me repeat the question.
No, that's okay. Let's move to another one then.
Right, because I'm actually curious on talking about Taiwan as well, on Taiwan's case.
We decided to give Dr. Alward another call to follow up.
And I just want to see if you can comment a bit on how Taiwan has done so far in terms of containing the virus.
Well, we've already talked about China, and you know, when you look across all the different areas of China, they've actually all done quite a good job. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting us to participate, and good luck as you go forward with the battle in Hong Kong.
All right, so all the videos I get recommended, all that crazy stuff. So you can see there, this guy is just completely covering for China, saying it's like she's clearly asking about Taiwan, and then he just acts like he doesn't hear her and says, oh, China's great, China's done everything, anybody that doesn't model after China. And then she, in that report, I just caught that too, where they're saying that they warned in December, the end of December, out of Taipei, I think she said it was, human-to-human contact was a thing that they found. Human-to-human transmission at the end of December was reported to the World Health Organization, but then they're claiming that, you know, based on what the Chinese have to say, there's no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission. So the cover-up's obvious at this point. I'm just trying to piece everything together the way I see it. Hopefully this makes it easy to understand. I'll just stop it right here because I could go on forever on this stuff, but it's hard to keep track of. I have a lot of time on my hands now, so this is probably what I'm going to be doing. Stay tuned for more.